What is going on, you guys? Welcome to Garage Denali. So in this video here in our little series, we're getting our head unit plugged in. So what we had to do here is Crutchfield actually, when they packaged all of my head unit equipment together, they've included a harness that I needed that will go from this head unit to the car's factory harness. So it's not a direct plug and play. You're going to have to take each of the individual wires and solder them together. Basically, you're joining them together so you can get a current, a flow going through the head unit and to the chassis, to the wiring harness in the main car. So it's not necessarily an easy job. It's not a plug and play. I mean, it is easy if you're experienced, but for my sake, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with this, so that's why I got my friend Charlie here to help me out. So he basically, combined all this together, got it all plugged in, ready to go. Disregard this blue wire here. This is for my sake, for my purposes, when I do add a subwoofer a little later on. And this little wire here, this is related to the backup camera for the head unit to power the camera on when the reverse lights come on. So you may or may not do this. It depends on what you guys want to do with your setup, but this is what I'm deciding to do. So of course this plugs right into the harness here, and this runs right into the back. And it taps right into the reverse lights. So basically you'll have the backup camera come on when this happens. So like I showed you earlier, we fished the wire for the backup camera in here. This is our factory harness right in here. So basically everything is getting plugged in. So right now we're ready to go ahead and start testing and double checking our work and making sure everything is okay. Alright guys, so what we did here is we put the ignition on. We're in accessory mode, so you can see the head unit is powering on. So this is our initial setting: language English, demo on, date and time. Let's get back. Okay, you're right. Hit OK. For your safety, do not watch and operate unit while driving. Close enough. So there we go. Here's our home screen. So it looks like our head unit is working. Rear camera. No video signal. Is it plugged in?
It'll power on once we have this connected.
Okay, so yeah, so right now our camera's not even plugged in yet, so let's go back home. Phone, so this is where you synchronize your phone, so this will be nice and easy Bluetooth audio, so it's looking for a phone. So it looks like our head unit is working, so that's nice. So now we're going to go ahead and get this installed in the car, tidy everything up, and we'll test each of the speakers, make sure everything works, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so in order to get our head unit to sit nice and flush, what we had to do is we had to Dremel out a little bit of the bracket in here, a little bit of the trim that the factory radio sits in. So basically the factory radio sits against some of this plastic lip here. We had to Dremel the top portion that you see there, and it looks like we're leaving a little bit at the bottom so we can get our head unit to sit nice and even. So that's what we did. So yes, this is going to be required if you want to get this to work, so keep that in mind. Alright guys, so that pretty much sums it up for this DIY. It is the next day. It was just getting way too late to, let me get my music paused here. It was getting way too late in order to show you guys any kind of decent footage because it was just getting too dark. So it is the next day here, and I'm doing a little wrap up here. So basically your head unit, what you have to do is you have to use the Ford factory radio removal tool. Basically you get those pins in there, and you have to, when you get the pins in there, you have to kind of angle them this way because there are some tabs in order to release the factory radio, and that comes out. Getting your head unit in is pretty straightforward. As you saw in the video, you're gonna have to do a little bit of dremeling up here and down below here in order to get this double DIN head unit to fit. Once it does, in this case we had to do a little bit of soldering because of the harness that Sony included here in my head unit. It had to match up with the factory harness, so that's why I got my friend Charlie to help me out. So a little bit of DIY, not really too terribly complicated. So you do all that, plug everything in. It's a pretty straightforward DIY. You have these little brackets here on both sides that help sit nice and flush, help it give it a nice decent factory look. Even though it wasn't really factory, makes it look like it was factory. So overall it's a very nice fit and finish. As you can see here, this specific head unit, get my music turned off here. So you can store up to 18 presets here, which is pretty nice. If we go back to home, USB, so I can plug in music here and stream it through USB. This one is an Apple CarPlay head unit, so I really wanted Apple CarPlay, so that's why I have my wire fish down here so I can just plug it in whenever I want and get Apple CarPlay. Bluetooth audio, pretty self-explanatory. If we go to phone, you can call people through your phone. I have not yet set that up. And then of course, rear camera is very nice. And then you go in the settings, you can change things like the EQ, and if you have a subwoofer, you can adjust settings for that as well. It's a pretty nice head unit, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. But it checks off all my boxes, and that's what I was looking for. I wasn't really looking to break the bank, but I desperately needed a better sound quality in this car. So this video basically shows you guys how to do that. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Check out my Instagram page at Garage Denali. Thank you very much, and take care.